Visitors to Samui who travel here from foreign lands generally arrive by plane on a short flight from Bangkok. But SITCA director Roongfa Sringam will be taking you to the mainland for this part of our culinary tour. So from the town of Naton on the north end of the island, she puts the car on the ferry for the 1.5-hour crossing. We head north for our first stop to Ranong, a province notable for being the kingdom's smallest and rainiest. Located on the Isthmus of Kra, which separates the Gulf from the Andaman Sea on Thailand's west coast, the area is known for its fishing industry and its agricultural produce, especially its fruit. At this herb farm, about 1 hour outside the town of Ranong, we'll see how some of the most distinctively Thai herbs used in the cuisine grow. There are still a great many small farming operations like this one all over Thailand. Locally farmed produce is one reason why freshness is a delightful aspect of sampling local dishes no matter where you go in the kingdom. If you're an aficionado of tom yum soup, one of Thai cuisine's shining stars, then you're familiar with the taste of the galangal root. This is about as high as the plant gets, and it's ready to be harvested. Now, galangal looks and grows like common ginger, but as you'll hear us say more than once, ginger is not a suitable substitute for galangal in Thai cooking because it doesn't taste like it. Nothing tastes like fresh galangal except dried galangal. There are several flavorings used in Thai cooking for which it must be said there really is no substitute.
Kaffir lime leaf. Really nice.
This kaffir lime tree produces leaves that are equally important in preparing authentic dishes. How do we love thee? Let's count the ways. We love the fragrance, the deep, rich green color, and of course the distinctively tangy taste of these leaves, especially when they're fresh. If you've been wondering what the fruit of the kaffir lime tree looks like, it's this. As with other citrus fruit, the peel is intensely flavorful. It's chopped and used in curry pastes and other dishes that require that little bit of extra kick. And in case you'd forgotten what an ordinary lime looks like, far from ignored in Thai cooking, the common lime is the source of the juice that provides the tang in soups, salads, and many other dishes. It's also used to keep vegetables from discoloring during preparation and for quick marinating. If any Southeast Asian herb is likely to be available outside the region in its fresh form, it's probably this one. It's not difficult to see where lemongrass gets its name. What you can't see from looking at this grassy-looking plant is the tangy taste of its stalk, the only part of the plant used. Something else you'll hear us say more than once is that the flavor of Thai herbs is strongest at the bottom of the plant. So in the case of lemongrass, when we make a curry paste or a nice lemony tasting salad, we use the bottommost part. Before we leave this delightful place, we'll take a look at the source of the turmeric powder and fresh turmeric root that is widely used in both South and Southeast Asian cooking. Aromatic root doesn't get any fresher than this, and it's perhaps most famously used in this form to flavor steamed fish and soups. The powder is made by allowing the root to sun-dry when it's then pounded. A bit further along in our journey, we'll look at some more herbs. We did say Ranong was Thailand's rainiest province, didn't we? As we head south before crossing the Isthmus, I just love saying that word, we're going to visit a farm where prawns and crabs are raised. A sometimes controversial method of supplying the massive demand for seafood, both from within Thailand and worldwide, prawn farms can be found in many coastal areas throughout the kingdom. Though the potential is there for good profits, it's a risky business, as entire crops can be lost to disease if the proprietor isn't careful. The prawns and crabs at this local, fairly small-scale operation are healthy and growing as they should. In these saltwater ponds, excavated from seaside plots of land like this one, seawater is pumped in and kept aerated. Chlorine is added to kill bacteria. The prawns are hatched at nurseries from which they're purchased, then they're introduced into these ponds when still tiny. They're fed 5 times a day with a dried fish byproduct and allowed to grow for 5 months when they will have reached their full size. In the course of their growth, one of the few methods is employed to check their progress.
Oh.
When the crop is fully grown, it's auctioned off right here when the bidders, having had the chance to inspect it, will be counting on a haul of up to 600,000 live critters. Thailand is amongst the world's biggest exporters of shrimp and prawns. Coastal areas like the one we just left also provide the raw material that goes into making 2 of Thai cuisine's most important seasonings. For the element of saltiness required in many dishes, Thais and other Southeast Asians use fish sauce. This liquid, brown in color, is made from small fish too small to be eaten, often taken from large catches and sold by the net fishing industry to factories like this one, where once a year a truckload with thousands of kilos of fish is delivered and placed into fermenting tanks like these. They're covered with massive quantities of sea salt, an amount equaling up to 40% of their weight, which both flavors and preserves the fish. Wood is stacked on top to weigh the fish down, and it's kept marinating in this tank for up to a year. Here we can see how the crystallized salt is floated to the top. The resulting liquid is strained through an opening at the bottom of the tank into a second adjacent one, and then again into a third. At this stage, the liquid is in a highly concentrated form. Fish sauce is sold in many grades in Southeast Asia, and each year, this factory decides how much of the vintage will be set aside for their highest quality product. Depending on the country of origin of the fish sauce you buy, you may know it by another name. Here in Thailand, we call it Nam Pla, but the Vietnamese call it Nuoc Mam, while the Chinese call it Yi Sui. Whatever you call it, a high-quality product will be recognized by a transparent golden brown color with a strong fishy odor. In these tanks, water is mixed with sea salt from Thailand's middle region, the area where Bangkok is located.
When cannot use the salt from the South Thailand because it tastes it's bitter more than the middle of the Thailand.
The resulting salt water is used to create a somewhat diluted version of the product that is sold at prices the average home cook can afford. Sugar is added to the sauce that has been set aside for the higher grades used by upscale restaurants and discerning cooks who can afford to pay up to 3 times more. This has the effect of subtly sweetening the sauce as it continues to ferment. In this next and final step, the fish sauce is pumped up to the top of this tank where it's strained one last time before it's poured into bottles for packing. Shrimp paste, or kapi as it's known in Thailand, is widely used in Thai and other Southeast Asian cuisines. This family-owned factory in the province of Nakhon Sri Thammarat has been in existence for over 30 years. It had humble beginnings, using traditional manufacturing methods like the one the owner took pleasure in demonstrating for us here. Like fish sauce, shrimp paste is sold in standard and high grades. These sacks are filled with ground-up tiny sea shrimp and fish separated from the larger catch of net fishermen. Before being ground and packed, the shrimp and fish were sun-dried, often in small seaside fishing villages, over the course of several days, causing them to turn pink. Sugar is now added to the mix, which will be allowed to marinate and take on an element of sweetness as it does. The enhanced mixture is put into deep tanks where it remains under the shade of this vast roof covered with plastic. 9 months later, the shrimp paste is taken out in clumps and spread out to dry in the sun for several days. The paste in this tub will go into a wide variety of dipping sauces, each with its own distinctive texture, fragrance, and flavor. It was made from high shrimp content and has a rich, dark pink color and a coarser texture than that of its lower-priced cousin. The Chinese are generally credited with having invented the rice noodle. And like this one, many noodle factories were established and continue to be run by Thai Chinese families. This is one of 3, owned and operated using innovations acquired in recent decades to streamline traditional techniques for mass-producing the thousands of tons of noodles consumed all over Thailand daily. Noodles are eaten in everything from salads to soups to stir-fries. The process of making them begins by washing and soaking large quantities of rice. Tapioca starch is then blended into the resulting soupy mixture as a thickening agent. The thickened rice liquid is now poured into the intake tray of this steamer. Important folk are sometimes called sen yai in Thailand, which means big noodle. Well, even the biggest noodle is pretty well cooked in the course of this journey. Piping hot, when they come out this end, the noodles are air-cooled before being stacked. As you might expect, fresh noodles are generally preferred to dry ones and are sold on markets all over the country by vendors who purchase them from local factories like this one. Rice noodles come in many shapes and sizes, so when you order a bowl of noodle soup, you'll be asked if you'd like skinny or fat noodles. Some noodles, like those generally used in making pad thai, are baked until stiff and dry before they're sold, while dishes like pad siu, or fried noodles in soy sauce, are best made using fresh ones. If you don't live in an area with a large Asian community where fresh noodles are available, you'll probably buy yours dry. A delicious seafood salad, one of the recipes in this series, is made using dried glass noodles.